Hi everyone, Grant for the Flame Learning channel. In this video, you'll learn how to do a manual 3D track in the Flame 2022.1 update. You usually resort to this when the automatic 3D track struggles with a shot, or the 3D trackers don't lock onto the specific point you'd like. So you'll cover how to set up the camera analysis for manual 3D tracking, manually place and track your points, create the scene tracker axis from camera analysis, and finally attach an object as part of your composite. To set the context, here I have a shot where I'd like to place a sign on the water tower. Now in action, I have already tried the usual camera analysis workflow. Looking at the camera analysis camera view, you can see how the 3D track has tracked most of the shot. However, the water tower was missed. This can happen due to the movement and rotation of this object as part of the camera move, and the motion vectors just cannot work it out. So another alternative is to do a manual 3D track where you place your own points. Now, since it is currently not possible to combine the automated 3D track with the manual 3D track, you need to delete this camera analysis and start again. Select the camera and add a new camera analysis. By default, the camera analysis uses the motion vectors map to perform the automated 3D track. However, to perform a manual 3D track, just delete the motion vectors map. When you look at the camera analysis controls, things still look the same. So you would still go through the process of setting up any camera information. But anything related to the automatic 3D track and machine learning can be ignored. To launch into the tracking tools, click the Analyze button. Now the golden rule for manual 3D tracking is that you need to have at least 9 trackers in the frame at any given time. This is the default setup for the tracking tools. So go ahead and start placing the tracker boxes mainly on the water tower. Please remember that if any of the trackers go off screen, you need to ensure that there are others to take their place to maintain the minimum of 9 trackers per frame. It is also possible to add as many trackers as you want. And you can even import trackers from other applications if they support the Flame Stabilizer file as an export. Once the trackers are in position, analyze the track. If there are any issues while tracking, all the usual tools such as offset reference and snapping function as expected. Once you're happy with the manual track, press the return button to go back to camera analysis. After returning from the tracking tools, ensure the camera analysis node is selected and switch to the camera analysis media view. Here, you can verify the 2D tracks are working as expected within camera analysis. As a tip, if you need to return to the manual tracking tools, clicking the Analyze button won't do anything. You need to reset the camera analysis tool and then click the Analyze button. Your previous tracking data will still be in the tracking tools, but you need to reset the camera analysis to get back to it. Switching to the camera analysis scene view, you can verify the point cloud from the manual tracks. You can also define a ground and origin point if required. Finally, switching to the camera analysis camera view, you can see how the points will be seen by the 3D camera. To create the scene tracker axis on the water tower, select the points in the frame and create the scene tracker axis in the Analyze menu. So now you're ready to attach any object to this axis in the 3D composite. So now that you have generated a scene tracker axis from camera analysis, you can switch to the result view and unhide the sign in the composite. The sign is already moving with the 3D composite, but you need to parent the Scene Tracker axis to it to place the sign at the correct place in 3D space. Next, select the axis of the sign and scale it to size. You may also want to reposition it in X and Y. So the track is locked, and it was integrated using manual 3D tracking. As a further example, here I have another batch flow graph where I have further integrated the sign into the shot with manual 3D tracking. The sign has a slight wrap around the water tower as an extended bicubic, and has been further refined using other nodes in batch. Feel free to deconstruct this flow graph for your learning purposes. Please subscribe to the Flame Learning channel and click the bell to be notified for future videos. Comments, feedback and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. And thanks for watching.